John King, USA, CNN, weeknights 7 Eastern.
I've come over to the map just to show some of the natural gas and oil pipelines and facilities, and they are significant. Now, Libya's percentage of the world oil output is significant, but not enormous. But General Clark, if he made a move to torch some of this, what then would happen? And should the United States, should NATO, should somebody try to preempt that?
Well, it's 1.6 million barrels a day. The Saudis probably have that much capacity they could bring online if necessary. I'm sure we know where those are. We've got some ability to take action in there. We have to ask, is that the right thing to do, to spread out a bunch of troops around these oil fields? Probably not, because what's going on that's peripheral. What you really want to do is influence what's actually happening. Now, what's happening is that as the protesters close in on Gaddafi, his mercenaries are going to become more and more desperate. They're going to use more and more violence, and this is going to come to a head in all probability, and they're going to run, defect, be killed by the protesters or something, and he's going to be gone. That would be my guess before some of these nightmare scenarios, and you're left with what David's worried about, which is, okay, then what happens to Libya? And that indeed is a problem. But on the other hand, this is the Mediterranean. It's across from Europe. There are a lot of educated people in Libya. There's a lot of Western influence in Libya, even though the elements of democracy aren't there. I think this is much less likely to turn into a Somalia-style failed state. And I think this is a situation with 6.5 million people that the West can grasp, work with, and help come to terms if the slaughter doesn't continue.
It's a big if, and we hope the slaughter doesn't continue. But, David, you made the point earlier, he's willing to die. Gaddafi himself said he would be a martyr if necessary. I want you to listen to this conversation. Wolf Blitzer had the U.S. ambassador from Libya on his program. Now, the ambassador, just like the UN ambassador, once a Gaddafi loyalist, now says he sides with the demonstrators and Gaddafi has to go. But listen to Ali Suleiman Al-Jali here talking about what he thinks will happen with Gaddafi.
I think he is a very stubborn person, you know. I believe that maybe he's committed suicide, or maybe he killed by one of his
you think he would commit
security,
suicide?
Or maybe he has some places where he can hide for some time. But our priority is that to stop killing. Second thing, that he must step down.
Andy Sherman, the ambassador, matter-of-factly, says maybe he'll commit suicide or maybe he'll be killed by one of his security.
I think that there are all kinds of possibilities that happen here. I actually am on the side of your other guest that I don't think that Libya will descend into a Somalia-like situation. We've seen in Benghazi where people are already organized in community without a government in power. I have a lot of faith in the Libyan people for the way that they're trying to gain their freedom. And I don't think Gaddafi is long for this world.
It has, in fact, been remarkable to watch Benghazi and the other cities that have fallen out of Gaddafi's control, how organized the locals are and how peaceful they are so far, their first priority being to keep order and restore services. That has been remarkable to watch, and we wish them success. General Clark, David Gergen, Ambassador Sherman, thanks for coming in tonight.